my legacy goes back quite a long time, actually, and my approach to sound, originally I was interested in abstraction of sound. I was interested in the world about me, and I was always interested in listening to things. Then I gradually got into the idea of music, and then I got into songwriting. So it then progressed from that, and then I was one of the early people into electronics. Moog synthesizers, mellotrons, all those kind of machines. This is in the 1970s, so we're quite advanced there in that terms of that. And then more latterly I progressed through interactivity in the 90s, interactive operas, electronic operas, and then I've gone gradually slightly towards the more commercial side with soundtracks for immersive cinema and documentaries and that kind of thing. But now with the university, it's more interesting because I can actually now go more into my research side, which is about looking at sound as an embodied medium or an encoded medium, which is really about, basically it's about the difference of how we respond to sound in terms of information or emotion. They have a real way, and through that, as I go, I've gone back to my more slightly abstracted ways and creating symphonies now. I'm developing the actual idea of, rather strangely enough, having been one of the first into electronics, I'm now returning back to writing for symphony orchestras, which I find actually, because of the tonal range and the discipline you need to, I find that actually more satisfying than digital recording, which rather sounds odd. A lot of my work is to do with 3D sound or surround sound or the spatialization of sound. And I've always loved electronics. I've also loved opera. And what I'd like to see is some kind of, if we could create an opera that is a spatialized opera. So voices would appear in front of you, around you, above you, down, below you. And if you had it actually within a kind of immersive environment, you could ask your audience to actually walk through by the various singers and actually participate within this space. It's a dream. It can be done. There is the technology to do it now. And I just think it'd be a thrilling experience for anybody to come to. Well, it's also be thrilling to write it as well. If I was going to recommend a book, I think the one I would choose would be Walter Murch's In the Blink of an Eye. Walter Murch is rather like the godfather of sound. He's actually a sound designer rather than a musician or sound engineer, but his work is superb in the movies. He's done things like Apocalypse Now. If you listen to the soundtrack of that, it's absolutely wonderful. English Patient, American Graffiti, The Conversation. I mean, The Conversation has got to be the world's greatest film on sound. It's all about surveillance and interpretation of sound. Yeah, he's the man.